Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they had to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this show on Podomatic, you can also go to iTunes and do a search for Women Entrepreneurs Radio, or come to the website Women Entrepreneur Secrets, and you can find links there as well. So those links will take you to the show. You can subscribe on iTunes or also on Android. So there's different ways that you can listen to the show, download the show, and share on social media. So I hope that you will do that as well. So I'm going to get started and introduce my guest for today. And in 2008, Cara Dolce was a 26-year-old girl working in New York City looking to grow her career and live the city life. She was later diagnosed with stage 3 estrogen-receptive, HER2-positive, non-BRCA gene breast cancer. After receiving so much love and support from everyone around her, Cara decided to help women feel this sense of strength by helping them feel beautiful and inspired. She started making care packages, also known as pretty packages, out of her 800 square foot apartment in Brooklyn, New York, and officially started her nonprofit organization, Fighting Pretty. In less than 1 year, Fighting Pretty sent 500 pretty packages to women all over the country. Fighting Pretty has been recognized by the American Cancer Society and has received in-kind product donations from companies such as Revlon, Maybelline, Happy Socks, and more, and even has a new Fighting Pretty nail polish named after them by OPI. To date, Fighting Pretty has sent over 3,500 pretty packages all over the United States, including several countries globally, and operates out of Portland, Oregon. So welcome to the show, Cara. Really glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
When I first heard about this, it just sounded like such a terrifically inspirational, organization and the things you're doing to really help other people to just feel better in the midst of such an awful diagnosis. But if you could just share a little bit about your journey with the listeners, because I've heard often that people are saying under a certain age, a lot of times you're not really supposed to be as concerned about breast cancer. It sounds like this definitely was not your experience.
Yes, that's very accurate. I actually did a self-breast exam in the shower when I was 26 after my grandmother had passed away from breast cancer. Not really expecting to find anything. I just, was kind of tempted to do it, and found a lump under my armpit area. And so I went to the doctor, my OBGYN, and she said, I really don't think this is anything. Why don't you come back in a month? So, and if it's still there, we'll check it out. So I went home. I came back in a month. It was still there. They went ahead and, checked it out, did an ultrasound and later a biopsy. And it turned out to have been, stage 3. So it had spread to my lymph nodes, and was a very, very aggressive breast cancer. So though, those under 40 are not recommended to get mammograms, my personal kind of message to all the ladies listening, and gentlemen too, is to really do self-breast exams and just, when you're in the shower, just do a self breast exam because it can only help you.
That's very interesting. As you're mentioning, that's not really the message that a lot of people get. So I think it's so important for this to get out and let people have more awareness. So at what point did you decide, I'm going to start this organization and get this going?
It happened kind of by accident. When I was battling cancer, my mantra through all of it was kind of just rock it, kind of fake it till you make it, put on some lipstick when you go to your chemo appointments, get dressed up and try to make yourself feel better by looking better. Mm-hmm. And so I would always wear bright scarves and bright lipstick and big earrings and people in the chemo, and hospital area would always ask me, how do you look so good? And I'm like, it's called makeup, I don't feel great, mm-hmm. but I just do my best to try to get myself out of my sweatpants and out of my pajamas, to try to feel better about myself. And so, I realized that I had this kind of sparkle inside that I needed to share with other people, while I was battling this vicious disease. And I would say it was about 3 years after I was done with treatment, a family friend was diagnosed with breast cancer, an aggressive form of breast cancer, and she was having a really tough time. And I had decided I really wanted to send her my strength and send her a pair of mini pink boxing gloves that a friend of mine had sent to me when I was battling cancer. Mm-hmm. So I sent her these boxing gloves along with a little baggie of makeup and a scarf, and it was kind of the first pretty package that I'd ever sent before Fighting Pretty was ever an idea. And I sent her those gloves, and I passed on my strength to her along with some beauty items. And she then conquered her cancer, passed on her gloves to someone. She then passed them on. And then unfortunately that family friend got cancer again and received her boxing gloves back again. Mm-hmm. But the idea, behind all of it was that we need to share our strengths with one another and encourage each other to feel strong and beautiful during this battle with cancer. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of inspired me to, send packages to even people that I didn't know. It didn't necessarily have to be a family friend. And so I started a Facebook page, and then slowly but surely people were trying to donate products and trying to donate, money. And I became a nonprofit. So,
wow.
Yeah. All out of my little apartment in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, with little pink boxes, scaling the walls. I had an assembly line on my bed. I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because it sounds like it's kind of a small space for a lot
yes.
of assembly.
Yep, 100%. So, and
right.
At first I wasn't even taking donations or anything. So I was literally, going to Target and buying all this stuff. And then I'm like, I can't afford, to do this out of pocket. I need to figure out a way, to be sending these packages,
right.
And keep them very personalized, but, also just, be able to send out more.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. So how, when you decided that you were going to form this nonprofit, at this time, it sounds as though you're going through a lot yourself and could have been extremely daunting to be managing your health and then to have this desire to help others. Did you get a lot of support from people around you? How did you really say, I'm going to start pulling this together?
Well, I was about 3 years out of treatment, so I was feeling, kind of slightly back to normal. Mm-hmm. And I was, back at work full time, but it really was, I don't know, it was just this inner, push to really do something that I was really inspired by, to try to help others feel that strength while they're battling something that's so hard. When I was going through my personal journey, my family and friends around me were so amazing that my, best girlfriends would send me care packages all the time. And I knew that I loved receiving them. And so when it got to be about 3 years out and I was feeling pretty good, I didn't have to go to treatment. I was really just being scanned, every 6 months or so. I just really dedicated my time to helping other people that might not have had the family and friends that I had to have that support through this box. It was kind of my way of reaching out to these women, and passing along my boxing gloves to them and passing along some makeup to help them feel like the beautiful woman that they are. And so I think it helped me continue to get through my own journey, by trying to pass on my experience and my strength with other women.
And how did you decide, what items that you would include in these boxes?
I decided based on what were some things that I knew would be helpful based on my own experience through that journey. And I knew for me that, lipstick and nail polish gave me this immediate gratification of feeling beautiful. And so because you never really know where the recipient of the pretty package is in their treatment plan, they may or may not have hair or they may or may not have eyelashes, but they can always put on some pink lipstick. They can always put on, some bright red nail polish or sparkly nail polish. And they always, should have kind of a bright colored scarf to wrap around their head or their neck, just to kind of add some color to their life. And then in addition to that, I would include, some inspirational items like magnets and notebooks that kind of said things on them to help them, never give up or remind themselves of how beautiful they are. And then, of course, our mini pink boxing gloves, which I included, the story of the boxing gloves in every package, and encouraged each recipient to pass on their boxing gloves when they felt like it was time to pass on their strength. So each product inside the box was really thought through. And sometimes we would have different products in there at different times. I would kind of, try out different things. Like sometimes we'd put hats in there or gloves in there for the winter or, just try to change it up a little bit. But I think we've gotten to a really great package that works for everybody who receives them and, really feels the love that we put into these packages.
How do you connect with the people who receive the packages? Do they come to your organization or are you working through other organizations?
So right now we do a lot of social media to, kind of advertise the fact that we have pretty packages. So typically a friend or family member would request a pretty package on our website for their loved one battling cancer. So there's been some guerrilla marketing, community kind of outreach. But what we're really trying to do is work with oncology offices and departments all across the country at different hospitals to then start working with, the doctors internally to then kind of fund, say, 100 pretty packages for their patients. And then when they get out of surgery, they might get a pretty package, or when they get diagnosed, they might get a pretty package. So we're really trying to work directly with the hospitals, and it's been going really, really well. So we're really excited that a lot of the hospitals are really interested. So
that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
them to share these, with people who really are at a point where they need as much inspiration and support as possible.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we do partner with other corporations to do volunteer events. So then, we'll bring our pretty package materials to their offices. So just a couple months ago, we worked with Nike out here in Oregon We've worked with Dolce. So we bring our materials out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Their volunteers then come and make the pretty packages. And that's another way that we're spreading awareness of Fighting Pretty. So if they know of anyone battling cancer, they too can request a pretty package.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it sounds as though going through this has really changed you. I would think as a person, and changed your outlook. You know, I would think that there's a lot of things that people go through when they've gotten this diagnosis that really makes a major shift in their lives. You know, is that true?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I never in a million years thought that I would have started a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Never in a million years thought that I, would be so passionate about, figuring out ways to improve these pretty packages and use my marketing skills to be able to really help women emotionally through their battle with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very lucky in a way that I experienced cancer at such a young age, because now I have the rest of my life to truly go after my passion of helping these women feel strong and beautiful. And so, it's absolutely not only changed my perspective on life, but it's changed my, my drive and my passions and my journey to what I want to spend my time doing every day.
That's a really, really good point. Have you considered writing a book, or do you have one in the works?
I don't have one in the works. However, I've probably written maybe 10 different outlines of 10 different ideas. I've definitely thought about writing a book about my story. I've thought about writing a book of what Fighting Pretty means. I've thought about trying to compile all of the Fighting Pretty stories together of what Fighting Pretty means to each individual woman. We've also worked with photographers to capture some amazing photography that you can see on our website. We're relaunching in a couple weeks, of just these really strong and beautiful, amazing women. So I've thought about doing photo books. I think the ideas are, huge and big and keep coming. So if you have any ideas, feel free to shoot them my way. But I think a book is definitely in the future. I just have to kind of nail down exactly what I want to focus on.
Yes, it sounds like it would be a good opportunity to, continue to share your message and how you've taken this health challenge, I guess, for a better way to describe it, and turned it into something that now can help others as well. I find talking to a lot of women, and often that's how they get started. Either it is something that's happened in their personal issue or health challenge, or something that they saw, this is really going to help myself and others. They tend to start businesses from a point of wanting to be of service. It's like you can see what people need that may be overlooked, particularly in situations where people aren't going through this, and they just wouldn't even understand what it feels
right.
like. So it's important.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It's right.
And in some way, Fighting Pretty relates to so many women, even if they're not battling cancer. Somebody could be, battling a mental illness, or could have just gotten a divorce, or just lost their job, and they're kind of, battling their own demons or their own experience outside of cancer. And Fighting Pretty is really a movement to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm amazing, I'm fierce, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, and I can do this.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
It really is. It's a feeling.
What is your vision then going forward for your movement?
My vision right now is to, continue to help women battling cancer, and support our mission of helping them feel strong and beautiful through their battle. We are really looking to partner with beauty and fashion organizations to collaborate on our pretty packages. We've had some great opportunities with Glossy Box last year. We launched an exclusive limited edition box with them. We've worked with OPI and Revlon. We're just really looking to kind of broaden our reach of letting folks know about Fighting Pretty and kind of crafting Fighting Pretty in such a way that it really, really stands for strength and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
But secondarily is also getting into the hands of patients. I mean, that's, and women battling cancer, that's the utmost important thing. And so partnering with these hospitals across the country is really, really important to us. So that's a big goal of ours as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you please share your website and any other ways that people can find you?
Sure. Our website is www.fightingpretty.org. We are also available on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we are constantly, updating our social media pages with photos that we get from women who've received our pretty packages. We encourage all the women, who have a pair of boxing gloves to post their photos and share their strength with us.
Mm-hmm.
We also encourage folks out in the community to help support Fighting Pretty by running their own fundraisers, and spreading awareness of what these pretty packages are and what the Fighting Pretty movement really is. So we really encourage everyone to get involved in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's great, because there's somewhere in there's a way for people to show their support for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as you said, even though they may not themselves have a diagnosis or know someone who does, it doesn't mean that they can't become a part of it and
absolutely
and show their support. So it sounds as though you pulled together something really extraordinary here. And for those people maybe listening who may be looking to start something, a movement, a nonprofit, a for-profit, how challenging was it really to say, okay, I'm going to start to connect with these brands and these different organizations? Did you find that it was kind of daunting to really get started in that way and to connect with the right people who can help you to get these things done?
It was in a way, but it was also this kind of fun challenge that I took as, what's the worst thing that can happen is they can say no. And it was this, this kind of, this feeling to just go for it and ask the question. And then as soon as somebody said yes, it just felt so amazing. Like the first time, I got a box from Revlon of, lipstick, I was like, oh my gosh, Revlon wants to donate to our pretty packages. And then about a year later, I had an intern helping me, and they delivered all these crates of OPI nail polish. And the two of us were practically in tears because we couldn't believe that this was happening. But it can be daunting. At the same time, it's very, very rewarding when you do get someone to donate to you. And, I still, to this day, when we get just regular financial donations coming through, everything from $5 to $500 to $1,000. I just got a donation the other day from somebody that I went to college with who I haven't spoken to in 10 years. And I saw his name come through. He donated $50, and it brought tears to my eyes. It just is the sweetest thing. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. And so every dollar counts, every call counts, every connection counts. So even if, it's a little overwhelming at first to make these connections, creating relationships with people really go a long way. And it just never hurts to ask for what you're looking for. I would say that's, kind of the best piece of advice that I could give.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think a lot of times women may go into business and maybe feel reluctant to really put themselves out there, or reluctant to be rejected, or just expecting to be rejected before you even ask.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've definitely struggled with that for sure. Sometimes I have offered, kind of the low ball opportunity instead of going in with the high ball opportunity because I was too nervous to really ask for it. But I think it comes with practice, and it comes, with a little bit of time. And the more you do it, the more you learn, and you become more confident in what you want and what your business is about. but I think it's also really important to show your passion for your cause. I think that might be the one thing that's really been really beneficial for me is when I go into meetings with anyone, it's very clear that I'm passionate about what I'm working on and what I'm doing. And I feel like people have gravitated, to our cause and to our brand because of that passion.
That's true. That makes a difference and makes an impression on people who you're dealing with, that you really believe in what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's something that will come through, and then people notice that, and they'll want to become a part of that because it's the excitement. They feel the passion as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's coming from you. So this is March is Women's History Month, and it just seems like there was so much activity with women being in the spotlight for what they're doing and what they have done that maybe we'd never heard of before. So I think that's pretty exciting to think that we can finally have people coming out here and doing what they do and being an inspiration. I know you're still very young and you've come through something very serious, but what would you like to say, when I get to a certain point down the road, what would you like to say that you have accomplished?
I think looking back on the last couple years since I started Fighting Pretty, I think, I'm very proud to say that I kind of started this from nothing. I actually, had talked to a bunch of advisors to ask them their opinion, and had received some, negative feedback that maybe Fighting Pretty isn't the right name of this organization. And, we don't just want an organization that focuses on helping women feel beautiful. But that's not what Fighting Pretty is about. Fighting Pretty is a movement to tell yourself that you are amazing and strong and beautiful and fierce and intelligent, and you do with that whatever you want to do with that. If that means putting on lipstick because that helps you feel that you're fighting pretty, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It's a movement of reminding yourself of how amazing you are. And I think, when I'm 50 and Fighting Pretty has hopefully helped hundreds and hundreds of thousands of women battling cancer by then, I hope to look back and say, with the help of many volunteers and sponsors and donations, I have helped these women look at themselves in the mirror and feel really good about themselves and not be scared to deal with the emotional after effects of cancer. I think that's my goal, is just for them to just be happy with who they are, as they are, scars, no scars, breasts, no breasts, hair, no hair. I just hope that they know how amazing and powerful they are.
I think that is a terrific legacy, and certainly you have a lot ahead of you because if you're just starting with this.
Thank you.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of things we'll be doing, and I guess in a way you could say that this thing that happened, this challenge, is really what led you to this life and really helping so many others, and that you will continue to be helping so many others. So it's an interesting way that it happened. But you're going to find a benefit from it then to know how many other people are going to be really feeling much better and motivated. It's a really powerful thing. And thank you
so much.
I think it's just terrific that you were able to take this and turn it into something so much bigger. Because as you said, someone goes through a diagnosis like this, it could crush, their spirit, and then, that's perfectly understandable to go through so many different.
Absolutely. And I mean, there are studies out there that show, people going through depression while they're in chemotherapy actually it does affect how the chemotherapy works on your body, because when your body is, not functioning properly, and you're in chemotherapy or other treatments, it's not fighting off this cancer as well as it could be. And so, the emotional side effects of cancer are something that, it's just not paid attention to as much because we are so worried about actually getting rid of the cancer through the drugs. And so Fighting Pretty is an emotional treatment, if you will, for women battling cancer. So to really lift their spirits.
And I think, or at least I hope that now we're more open to understanding how everything is connected, not just the physical, but your emotional state and everything else, so.
Absolutely.
I think this is something that has excellent timing because there, have been times in the past where that was never even considered. So,
exactly.
I'm glad that is changing. And that's really what's going to help a lot of people to get through things they thought they could never get through. Yes, and we're at the end of our show, and this has just gone by so quickly. So because like wow, we just got started. So
thank you so much.
Oh, I thank you. This is just such a terrific idea, just so fantastic. And, as you mentioned, it's something that goes, it can go anywhere and everywhere to really uplift people, particularly uplift women, no matter what they're going through. And I think that is so, so important. We definitely need more and more of that. So I want to thank you, Kara, for all you do. And for coming through what you've come through. I think it's really terrific. I really salute you.
Well, thank you so much. Really, I appreciate, the time on your show. I hope the listeners, have really been inspired today to fight pretty through whatever it is that they're battling.
Yes, and I'm sure they will. And definitely everyone, please make sure you visit the site, fightingpretty.org, and get involved in any way that you can, because it's all appreciated if you do. So please make sure that you do that. And everyone, I know you enjoyed this show. Please make sure you share it on social media and, let everyone know to listen in. Once again, this Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on Facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs and on the website, WomenEntrepreneurSecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.podomatic.com and on iTunes.